moving on from Pow World, we have to talk about what is going on with Xbox. Asha Sharma is the Grim Reaper of DEI programs and all this bloat that Xbox has been doing. Funnily enough, before all the PlayStation people jump in, Sony just recently did the same thing. They are gutting every fucking management, every fucking... It is insane the amount of job openings that have come open out of just straight up just gutting people. Just gutting out the fat, right? The games industry is finally healing. It is the year of the chud, is what I keep seeing circled around the internet. Which I'm assume I qualify as a chud because, like, I've been against a lot of this bullshit for so long. What the frick, man? My fucking circle's not putting out any flavor. There it goes. Weird. Alright. Anyway. Xbox. I have always been... Well, not always, but... My timeline. If I were to break down... If I were to break down... My timeline for consoles starts with the Nintendo, and we're not talking handhelds here, we're just talking consoles. The Nintendo 64 was my first console. That was my first console, and will always be a goated console in my mind. It was so good. I was never a Super Nintendo kid. I was never like... I never had a Sega. I never had an Atari. I never fucking, had any of those. The Nintendo 64 was my first exposure to video games, and it will always have a special place in my heart. Moving on from the Nintendo 64, there's a big portion of my life. I was not always like a big gamer. A big portion of my life was like there was no games, no anime, no fucking card games, nothing. So moving on from the Nintendo 64, the second time that I got into video games, I jumped in on the PlayStation. I gotta butcher that. The PlayStation 2 Silver Edition. That was the second console I ever actually was my console that I played on. It was the PlayStation 2 Silver. Moving on from that, I did have a short stint, right, where I was on the PlayStation 3. Now, I barely count this one because I traded my PlayStation 3 for the Xbox 360. The reason why was because PlayStation... at this time especially was still very much like it was not multiplayer friendly, right? Xbox back then was massive with Halo, with Gears of War. It was like the new kid on the block, and it was trying to make a name for itself, and it did that very well. I was lucky. I was never one to have to deal with the red ring of death. My console never had a problem. And I probably due to I wasn't like a huge gamer, so I wasn't like spending a lot of time on there, which I know is not exactly why, but these consoles, the reason why the red ring happened was because they were overheating. And it was not like... I didn't play it enough for that to happen. So, again, I was still not in my quote-unquote gamer era, right? So I had a lot of fun with the Xbox 360. Moving on from that, I did stick with Xbox ever since. So I was on the Xbox One platform. And I never had the Xbox One X. I only had the Xbox One S. I never got the X until the Xbox Series. X console. This is when I became fully invested into Xbox. This is my Xbox era, right? So I never got the Xbox One. I went from the 360 to the One S, straight into the Series X. And then I stopped playing Xbox and console altogether, and I finally got my first PC. Now, I've still had an Xbox since then, right? And like, I know there's going to be some people in chat who's like, well, what about the Nintendo Switch? Listen, Nintendo Switch, I don't count as a console. I really don't. It's handheld convenience with console features. It is not a console. It'll never play like a console. It'll never keep up with console standards. It is just not that good. And that's coming from somebody who has the Switch 2, by the way. I have the Switch 2. It is in the other room. I'm not... Fuck it. You know what? Because I know there's going to be somebody in the comments. No, you don't. Shut the fuck up. Telling you. I'm not bullshitting. Listen, this YouTube shit will pop off eventually, but I got my own fucking money, bro. If there's something I want, I get it, dude. I don't hesitate at all. Switch 2. For all the haters, Nintendo Switch 2. I have every console, every single one, including the PlayStation 5, which again, I'm not going to put on here simply because I literally only got the PlayStation 5 because I didn't want to wait for Black Myth Wukong to release on PC. Is officially doing its factory reset. I've said this many times. They needed to get back to focusing on what made Xbox great. Halo, Gears, getting back to making the exclusives great again. And it seems Asha Sharma is doing that. Everybody at Xbox, for 3,200 of those stupid motherfuckers, are getting absolutely nuked. 1,600 were eliminated the day she released this email. 1,600. So thank you, Asha Sharma, for absolutely doing what was necessary. Maybe not what was good, but necessary. So she's gutting everyone. Absolutely gutting everyone. So it is finally time that we bring everybody back to the table. Activision, Bethesda, Blizzard, King, Mojang. We are finally getting to the point to where she's going through and she's auditing these companies. Well, not companies. She's auditing these studios and she's saying, you need to fucking perform. We have let you go and do your thing and be creative and do this and that and whatever. But at some point, you're mismanaging everything, right? Because if you let these people just go off and do whatever the fuck they want, then you're basically tanking your entire business based off of their ability to perform. But when performance means that it takes 10, 12, 15, 20 fucking years to put out a new game, at what point is that just welfare for video games? Like, it is about fucking time. About fucking time you have somebody going in there doing quality control. As you can see right here, we are establishing a chief operating officer. Somebody to go in there and say, you guys are wasting fucking time. You're wasting resources. Why is this part of the game not done? You need to focus. Get locked in. Right? That's good. That's good. This is Xbox finally returning to form, finally healing. We're getting rid of all these fake positions. And I did see A lot of the look right here today in some parts of the company, work passes through as many as 14 layers of management. What did I say before about bloat, about mismanagement, about games don't need to be more expensive? We need to be auditing these companies because they're doing shit wrong. This is exactly what I was talking about. All this money that they're wasting paying these fucking useless morons that all want to have a say. When you have too many cooks in the kitchen, nothing's going to get cooked right because everybody has their own way of how they want to fucking do it. You can't do that, man. There's a reason why a restaurant has a head chef. There's a reason why a studio should have a single developer that is the vision. He is the one who is giving you the plan. Everybody else is simply there to execute on that plan. You need to cut the fat. And this was the fat. And they're finally doing it. They're finally doing it. That's so good. That's so good. And PlayStation is doing this as well. They are not nearly as open about it, but it is pretty easy to find simply looking it up. So it is good to see that gaming is returning to the absolute monstrosity that made it what it is today. We're finally getting that reset that we needed. Oh my God. W. Asha Sharma, W. Xbox. It's good to see that we're getting back to what made Xbox great. E-Day is looking good. Now if Halo can come out and produce like it's supposed to, I swear to God if it doesn't, if Combat Evolved flops, I'm going to fucking lose my mind. Moving on.